do this kind of reaching forward, okay? So first of all, we're going to go with our hips pressed up against the back side of the chair. And I guess we all have different chairs, so not sure what you have. If you have those blocks and your feet are not flatly reaching the ground, then I'm going to use the blocks to help me situate myself in that good aligned ankle, knee, feet coming straight out. Take a look at that. You know, we all have built habits through our life in the way that we carry our bodies. So a lot of times we'll find one foot out and not even realize it. And that's the way we may be walking through life too. And that's taking everything out of alignment on that side of the body. So if you can, taking your feet, having them forward, pressing into the earth or the blocks. Some of us have really long legs from here to here, and that's not an issue. But for me, I've got the blocks down, and that makes it just perfect. I do have my hips at the base of the chair, and I am going to line my spine on the back of the chair. That gives me an angle back, at least with my chair. Your chair might give you less of an angle. So I'm coming back, and I'm placing my shoulders into the chair. And I really want to feel those shoulders pull back there. I want to press in here through my navel point as well. So that's one thing. Sometimes when we take our shoulders back and we let our heart go forward, we let our lumbar open up, right? Like for cat and cow. But right now, I want to have the shoulders pull back and I want this navel pulling in. And that really reaches to that whole back side of my chair at least. Again, not sure what kind of chair you're working on. My arms are extended, so I should be able to feel as much of my body attached to this chair as possible, right? Back side of my legs, my whole entire back of my body up to my shoulders, pulling back on those shoulders, letting the heart come forward, but still pulling in here. Again, being really conscious of that area here in our center. And let's just close our eyes and maintain this kind of really strong, structured core of our body here. The shoulders back, everything pressing isometrically up against the back of your chair. As we do that, let's come into some breath. And not maybe as easy, slow, full, deep breaths as if we weren't trying to have some energy already in our spine. But we do want to keep that energy and keep the breath going. It's easier to breathe deep, slow, full breaths when we're just in a real relaxed state. But when we have part of our body or all of it contracted, we tend to want to hold our breath. So here, practice taking full sleep, deep breaths with a spine that's real erect and real connected right now, pushing into the backside of that chair. 2 more full, slow, deep, connecting breaths here. And then, keeping our spine nice and straight, pull it forward away from the back of the chair. So we've released our shoulders and we've released our spine from the back of the chair. And we're sitting up nice and tall. And there is an asana that myself and many of us practice a lot during the day, and that is slump asana, right? Slump asana is when we are slumped down into a chair. Maybe we're not, pushing our shoulders back into that chair and working on that upright position. We're just slumping down. And this has a little value if I'm mindful of it, right? So I find myself slumping, okay, maybe I'll just come all the way down, follow me, into that really extreme cat position here. Right. And then bringing myself up, straight spine out of that slump, and then releasing chin up. Now go into the lumbar spine and let yourself open up there. Hold on to your knees, pull the shoulders down. I know everybody's mouth is closed but mine, because I'm talking. You guys have breath coming in and out of your nose. And then come back to a straight spine. See what that feels like. And then I want you to go into slump asana. Slumping down. Notice what happens here in our abdomen. Boom. Everything bulges out, right? We're slumping. And now go ahead. Let that slump take you forward. Let your chin come to your chest. Let your heavy head hang. A forward fold here. Maybe more than it is a cat fold. And then we're going to slowly rise up from that forward fold. We're going to hold on to our knees. We're going to come into that straight alignment. And then pop the chest forward and let that opening occur in the lower spine. Pull shoulders down, keep mouth closed. Reach up with our eyes and our chin. And then come on back to a straight spine, right? And then let's just shift our whole torso over to the right, holding on to my knees here, feeling that opening on that side of my hips. Come back to the center, and let's shift over to the other side here, feeling that an engagement of my obliques. Come back to center, and I'm really straight here, okay? Pushing into feet, into the chair with my sits bones. Take myself to the side. Bring myself back center. And let's take ourselves over again. Just real slight movements here, but you definitely can feel that into the oblique area. And now let's take ourselves in circles. Come forward, slide across chest and thighs. Come back. Let yourself go back into the chair. Slide across the back of the chair. Slide over to the right and keep going in these nice circles here. Slow. Your exhale takes you forward towards the ground. Inhales when I lengthen. Go back into the chair. 2 more rounds in this direction. Working our waist, keeping our eye on our feet and our knees so that everything still is coming forward. Keeping track of our breath in our closed mouths. And coming back around in the opposite way. It's incredible how much you can lower your heart rate, lower your breath rate, lower your blood pressure, lower your stress level, the amount of adrenaline and cortisol that's released from your body by breathing in and out slowly through your nose. Come on back, take your shoulders across the back of the chair, and then bring yourself again into an upright position, pressing down into the sits bones and into your feet. Let's go ahead and raise our hands up. Inhale. And take a hold of your left wrist with your right hand. Push up. Feel that in the shoulders. If that's a lot, bend into your elbows, okay? So only extend to that place that is right for you. And let's take a few breaths here as we pull in at the navel, trying to not take a curve in that lower spine, okay? So stay really straight here. Push up. And now let's let ourselves come over to the right. And we'll continue giving some weight into that right hand on the left wrist. Push down solidly into the sits bones. Taking breaths slowly here. On an inhale, slowly with core strength, bring yourself up. try to pull shoulders down. I know this is counterintuitive because when I say raise your arms up, our shoulders come up as well. Let's try to pull the shoulders down, but keep the arms lifted. But again, this could be your lift right here. And that gives another kind of strength to do that, all right? That's gonna help you in your triceps. But right now, we're doing either one that feels right for you. Lengthen on an in-breath and come on over. On your exhale, your out breath, push down. I'm coming over to my left side, so I'm really coming down here, but I'm pushing down into my right sits bone so that I stay really grounded on that chair or the floor. If you all are deciding to do this totally on the floor, you can do that as well. Rising up with an in-breath. And release your hands slowly, slowly, slowly. Let them come on down and chin comes to chest. Taking a couple of breaths here, releasing that back side of our neck, letting the shoulders pull down away from our ears here. Sorry, I think one of my neighbors decided to mow their lawn. She's, I think, really on time because I think every time I have class, she's mowing her lawn. Inhale here, rise up. I'm going to take my left hand to my right wrist now, and that's going to extend that right side just a little bit more than the left side, right? By pushing through the palm on the right hand. Staying lifted, but again, here we go. You can do this as well, okay? And let's take an exhale over to the left side here. Feeling if your arms are straight over your head, your biceps and your ears are coming into alignment, pressing down on my right hip. A little bit more, I'm going to feel that opening more on the side of my body. Your mouths are closed and breathing through your nose. Take your tongue away from the roof of your mouth. Relax your facial muscles and bring it up on an inhale. Take a full deep breath here. Shoulders pull down. And then send yourself over in the opposite direction. Pushing your arms solidly through or keeping them here in that bent position. Breathing. Really being static here in our poses to begin with. And bring yourself up, inhale. Push into the sky, pull shoulders down. Inhale. Exhale, slowly ignite your fingers wide. Let your hands come down, slow motion. Chin comes and caresses onto your chest, opening up the back side of the neck. You should feel really, really good there. And let's take that chin over towards your right shoulder. Feel that here on the left side of the neck. Hold on to the chair there on that left side and let yourself come over to the right. So my chin is over my right shoulder. I'm holding on here to the chair with my left hand, so I'm going to really feel that more there. That real nice release in my neck. And inhale, slowly pulling in on my navel, bringing myself up and letting my chin fall back down slowly back in towards the center of my chest. Shoulders are downward. Hold on with my right hand right on the seat of my chair here. Take my chin towards my left shoulder. Just feeling that. And then releasing down to the left. Hold on tight. Don't want anybody to fall and face plant here. Hold onto the chair. Let your chin come as close to your shoulder, your left shoulder as possible. Feeling that nice stretch and opening all the way down the right side of your neck into your shoulder area, trapezius area. Pulling at your navel. Bring yourself up. Inhale. Chin comes back to center. Exhale. Let it release. Shoulders down. And then inhale, slowly bringing your chin back to neutral. Feel good. And then let's go ahead. If you had blocks underneath you, take them away and bring yourself towards the edge of your chair. And we still are looking for flat feet, and we're still looking for a good alignment here in your mountain pose. But we've moved away. So again, we're even farther away from the back side of that chair. But what we're going to do is a little rocking here. So we really want to intensify what's going on right here in our core. So take your hands underneath your thighs, right at the knee area. Come up to the top of your toes here. Pull in at the navel point. Start to lean back. Hold on tightly into your legs. Lean on back until you lean so far that you start to lift your toes off the ground. Maybe you fall all the way back into the back of the chair. That's okay. So we'll practice a little bit of Navasana here, boat pose, with our toes down, feet pointed here. And I'm kind of rocking on my tailbone a bit. And maybe my feet don't lift up very high from the ground. Maybe I feel like really need to have that support with my shoulders on the chair. And take it if you need that. And then bring yourself forward. Let your feet come flat. And let's go into official cat and cow. Hold on to your knees and let yourself pull forward, okay? I'm pulling so far forward that my ribs are hovering above my thighs. Okay, my shoulders are down and I'm looking up, but not compressing too much into the neck, okay? So take that wherever it's good for you guys. And then I bring my shoulders forward. I curl in, slide my hands down. Really take my chin to my chest. Feel that opening. Push down into my feet. You're going to feel it more. Feel the opening in the lower spine, where we have so much compression from that gravity and from constant, hitting our foot on the ground as we walk, around that pounding, right? So we're opening that up. Slide back up. Take a hold of your knees. Pull your ribs forward, heart forward. Bend into your elbows. Squeeze the knees and look up. Inhale. And then take your exhale by pulling shoulders forward. And take and slide down your shins. Exhale. Hang out here if you'd like. Or keep taking it as a dynamic move with your breath. Moving your body. Keep checking in with your feet. Mine started to turn. Okay. Keep checking in with your knees, that they're pulling forward towards me. We're taking this cow a little bit lower by trying to have those ribs hovering over the thighs. Sometimes we don't take it quite that low. It doesn't have to be. That doesn't feel right for you and you want to be up here more. This is cat-cow too. Okay, so wherever you are, Take it into the type of opening and closing that your body's calling for. But it is good when you can and want to experiment with other ways of doing things if your body's open to it. And let's just do one more. And bring yourself up. And sitting straight and tall. So do a little shoulder work, but this time we're going to take it slower than what we have normally done. All right, so shoulders rise up high here, squeeze them into your ears. So this is that contraction that we're really making. I want you to press down into your thighs. That's going to help to put energy through your arms all the way up into your shoulders, and we're squeezing here. And then pull back just a little bit. Keep them up, but pull them back. Take a couple breaths here. Then pull them back a little bit more. Take a couple breaths here. And pull them back and maybe bringing them down a bit now. And then taking them down again, all the way, as far away from your ears as you can. And then bringing them forward. Starting to bring them forward where they come into that slump asana position. But we're aware of it. And we're going to bring them forward a little bit more. We're going to start to bring them up towards our earlobes. Push down into our thighs as we've reached the pinnacle here. Now squeeze again. Bring them forward just a little bit, still squeezing upward. Bring them forward a little bit more, pulling them in. Take them down. Starting to release away from the ears. And then sitting straight up. The shoulders now are as far away from your ears as they can go. And then pull them back. Let your heart expand, but hold in at your navel so we're not taking a big lumbar spine curve there. Pull them back more. Squeeze. Can you feel that? Feel the muscles in between your shoulders squeezing together here. Rise up a little bit here with that shoulder squeeze. Keep them coming. Bring them up. All the way now again, as high as you can, centered. And on a big exhale, let go. And release. And let's just take and let one arm come down, the other arm come down, moving through the chest a bit. Bringing ourselves back into center. I think it's time for a twist. So let's go ahead and take this twist in a little different fashion. So let's take both of our legs over to the right. We've done this before, but again, it just adds another variety of our imagery for our chair twist. So we're taking it and we have our knees again lined up with ankles if possible, please. And we have a nice straight spine. Okay. Pulling in here, lifting up through the heart, shoulders pull down. But I don't want to do any of this right now, okay? I want everything to be kind of centered and pulled in. You want to have that nice, long, straight spine before you go into a twist. And that just makes it healthier. Okay, I'm going to take both of my hands to the back part of the chair. Find what's comfortable for you in terms of that opening of the shoulder, because the shoulder closest to the chair is going to open up a little bit more. Then we go ahead and begin twisting from our waist on up. Find that. Look back over your back shoulder. That happens to be my right shoulder. Still staying long and tall. Pushing down with my feet into the ground. If they reach. And they should, because we're on the edge, side edge of the chair. Holding in at my belly, bringing myself around slowly. Coming on back around here. And I'm going to cross my right hand to my left leg, or maybe it's opposite for you, and take your opposite hand back onto the chair, sitting up straight and tall. Let's go ahead and twist in the opposite way. We're taking things today so far just kind of slow and mindful and deep, right? We're taking things a little deeper today. It doesn't mean it's easier. It means it might be a little bit slower and more methodical. And then slowly begin to unwind. Bring yourself back to seated mountain. And before we go to the other side, we're going to do a little work over here. So I'm going to keep my inner leg, my right leg, forward. And my other leg is going to come out. And we're going to do a little work to warm up our hips. Don't really need that other chair right there at this moment. And so generally, we will try to maintain that knee and ankle alignment. But right now, what I want you to do is be very much on the corner of your chair. And we're just going to press ourselves forward a little bit, almost off the chair. Okay, so sliding off the chair a bit, letting your right knee come past your ankle. Maybe hold on a little bit here. Just slide it forward and then bring it back. Take it forward, maybe by sliding the foot back. That might be what we need to do. It doesn't work quite the same seated on the chair as it does standing. So sliding the foot back and letting our knee now cross in front of our ankle. Push down into your heel and feel that opening in the back side of your calf. Push down onto the seat of the chair and onto your thigh of the back knee, or back knee. And then bring it back, or move the foot so we can come back into alignment again. And we'll do that one more time. Trying to stretch the knee forward, but might need to bring that heel back. That seems to be the best way to do this. We're just going to open up here on the hip a bit by letting the knee go forward. Really kind of riding on the side of the chair. And then bringing myself back into good alignment here. And again, before moving to the other side, we've got our legs open. Let's slide down the left leg or the front leg, and the other arm reaches up high. If this is a lot, we're right here. This is a great place for a block at any height as well. I want to just keep introducing those blocks so that you all feel comfortable. I want you to be on something. I don't want you just like dangling here, okay? That's not really healthy for you, especially if, we're really working still on strengthening the core. So your hand should be attached to your leg or on the block, on the ground, or right here. Okay? Really lengthening up. And then bring yourself up, sitting up again, nice and straight, corner of your chair in the center of your body. And I'm going to reach down my right inner leg, or I'm bending my elbow and planting myself on my thigh. And I'm just going to show you all these different ways. I'm taking a block at any height and lifting my other arm up, okay? And I suggest you practice with blocks so you get more comfortable with them, right? I don't always use them, but when I remember to, I'm really thankful for them. I'm thankful that they teach me better alignment. They teach me about a little more stability as well. And lengthening, I'm able to lengthen more when I do this. That's just me. You may have a different experience with blocks. And then we're going to go ahead and rise on up. Let's take 2 sets of cat-cow here with wide legs. Inhale. Exhale. A little bit different here. Doing it with wide legs. Bring ourselves up. Good. We got to do that on the other side now. So take your block with you if you used a block. And we're going to turn to the other side of the chair so we can get those twists in. I'm just moving to make sure you guys can still see. And taking my feet about hips distance. Again, always like checking into all these details. And it doesn't mean that if you didn't check into your details that it was a wasted toes. No, nothing like that. It's just the more that you be in your practice, the more you're going to start to notice those little things and you'll recall them. You recall my voice saying those things over and over again. All right, so here we are, nice and straight spine. Again, not opening up here into a rounded lumbar spine, but letting my pelvis tip downward, pull in at my navel. Let my heart rise up, my clavicles open up into a nice seated position here. Reminding myself about my slowful breaths in and out of my nose. Really be tall. And then go ahead and take your hands to the outside of your chair, maybe the top. If you don't want as much opening for now my left shoulder, I might just keep them both at the top of the chair. Somewhere I'm attached, okay? And then I'm going to pull in here and begin that twist. Looking over that left shoulder. Paying attention to my feet connected to the ground, my breath in and out of my nose. And then slowly releasing, coming back around, coming back to a straight spine. And then I'm going to reverse. I'm going to take my inner hand, just my left, to my right knee. Right hand's coming behind me here, sitting up straight and tall, holding on to the chair. I begin that twist from my waist upwards. I don't know about you guys if you feed hummingbirds, but we have been, it seems like we have less now than we did a week ago or so. I don't know if the rest of you are feeling that. I don't know if they've moved on. We're slowly moving on. We still have some. It's just not the madness we had a few weeks ago. And then begin to release. Your head comes back around. That's when I miss us in class, because we could have a conversation about hummingbirds, right? But right now it's just like me, blah, blah, and throwing out questions. All right, so here we are, and then let's go ahead and leave the inner leg, which is my left leg, in. I'm going to take my right leg out, and I'm going to open up into a nice stance here. And I'm going to work again on trying to move to the edge of the chair so that I can move my knee past. And I know generally I don't want you to do that, but this is a mindful approach here that we're doing. I want it to be a little bit past my ankle. I may even bring my heel in, and that way I'm pushing down on my heel, knee juts forward, and I feel that in the back of my calf. But I'm mindful about it, I'm in control, right? Especially if you're here. Okay. And just letting that hip move forward a little bit. Hip and knee, pushing down a little bit more into my feet that are grounded, checking into that foot that's forward. Make sure it's not in doing that. Keeping it nice and controlled too. And then going and releasing so that my ankle and my knee are back in alignment here. Really open here in this stance. Even though we're not standing, this is still a stance, kind of a horse stance here. Now we're going to do that again. So I'm going to, again, move myself forward, move my heel inward to let my knee go forward there. Sitting up straight and tall. Press down into my heel. Squeeze into my glutes. Feel that opening in the hip. Squeezing into core. Keeping back nice and straight. Staying away from slump asana. And then releasing, bringing my foot back in alignment, ankle and knee. Feeling myself being really strong here in the center and in this stance. And just reviewing that stance. And let's go ahead and take our hands on the inside of our creases of our knee. There. And I'm going to press out with my arms and in with my knees. And I'm going to feel that in my arm strength. I'm going to feel that in my leg strength. I'm going to push down in my feet in the ground. I'm going to take that energy all the way into my arms to my chest, up from my legs to my glutes and core. And I'm going to push out a little bit more. I'm going to pull in a little bit more. I'm going to extend my fingers wider and exhale. Going to release. And keeping my spine still straight. I could have released like this, right? So that would release all of this. And that brings me into that slump asana again. But I'm going to stay maintained, my composure. And then I'm going to take my hands to the outside of my knee crease there. I'm going to bring my hands inward as I push my legs outward. Feel the strengthening is going to happen to all parts of the body here. Go ahead and begin pushing down through feet, lifting through the crown of your head, taking all the might and strength you have in your legs and arms, generating that heat and that energy inward, upward, and into the center of our bodies. Go ahead, you guys. A few more breaths here. Let your legs shake. Let your arms shake. Really push and pull and exhale. Woo. And breathe. Good. And let's go ahead and walk our feet in. Let's come back to the center part of the chair. This is where we're going to bring the other chair. Or you may be coming to the floor, or you might be taking it to a desk or a table, because we're going to do a little lengthening here of the spine. You could also come down onto your hands. But I'm not sure you'll get the same effect, but you know, that's another option, modification. So I'm taking the other chair, I'm scooting back as much as I can into one chair, and then I want to walk forward, lengthen my arms on the chair, take my ears by my biceps, Really allowing here the opening of the shoulder, the armpits. You're going to feel that. Feel that length in your spine. You need to push your seat back a little bit more. Do that. Feel your belly breath coming in and out from your nose, remember. Feel that belly breath expanding into the sides of your legs. We haven't let our head go, okay? We're keeping our cervical spine in alignment with the rest of our spine. I want you to begin to push down solidly with your hands into the chair, with your arms into the chair. And as you do that, feel that radiating up into biceps, into triceps, into pecs. Press down into your feet as well. Breathing here. And then lifting your head up. Take your hands to the outside of the chair that's in front of you. Keep your feet wide, heels in, toes out. Sorry, guys. Looks like I'm getting a call that I shouldn't have had coming in because I turned off all my notifications. So, sorry, I don't know how long that was going on. So, here we are, coming from here, rising up so that our hands are on the side of the chair, having our heels and toes out. And I'm going to lift my feet off of the chair. And I'm going to come into standing here with my arms supporting me. And let my weight start to come forward. Right? Still straight legs here. And then come on up to the balls of your feet here, holding on to the chair that's in front of you. Exercising balance a bit, and the back side of your calves pull into your kneecaps. Lift them up into your quads. Squeeze all your muscles together here. Pull in at your navel point. And then let your heels come down. And let your seat come back into the chair. Find yourself with hands stretched out back into Balasana. Right here in our child's pose. We'll do that one more time. So rise up with your head. Take your hands to the outside of the chair. Put weight into your feet. Lift yourself up slowly from that chair. First come with straight back and straight legs. Then rise up if you can or want into the balls of your feet. To your toes. You can bring your body weight even more forward so that your shoulders are directly above your wrists. You're pulling in at your navel. Yeah. A couple hummingbirds. Really lifting into your leg muscles, squeezing everything together as you push down solidly into the ground, into your toes. And then heels come down. And let's let our seat come back into the chair, arms lengthen. Find yourself in Future Warrior, aka One-Legged Child's Pose. And then walk yourself up to the front of the chair. And here you may want to bring the chair in a little bit more. Depends on where you're at. We're going to activate the back side of our legs some. So I'm going to extend my right leg on the chair. And I don't want to hyperextend into this knee. So be aware of that, okay? Find what's going to work for you. And keep a slight bend in that knee that's up. With my left leg, I'm going to place it with an open hip, right? So that the sole of my foot might be close to my shin, or it can be out. If you have a nice really not necessarily nice, but if your hip is really open and you want to bring that foot up onto the chair you're seated on, you can do that as well. And we're going to work on lengthening the back side of one leg, opening up the hip. So I'm doing it here for a little while, and then I'm going to take it back to plant it on the other chair. Okay, so that you know that both are options. And I'm going to take a hold of the chair and keep my back flat and my shoulders in alignment, and just let myself come down a little bit here. Again, keeping that slight bend in my extended leg. Then once I'm at a point where I feel like that's about it for my depth and my long spine, then go ahead and let your head go. Trying to find forehead to knee, Janu Shavasana. Bend your knee even so that you feel that. Take your chin into your chest a little bit more. Breathing here, Janu Shavasana. Forehead to knee is really good for our thyroids, okay, for regulating them. So you might have your leg extended, you might have that slight bend, you might have it bent even more, but find your forehead, find your knee. This can be done seated on the ground, okay? And then I'm going to round up out of that. Chin stays on my chest, squeezing into my thyroid, bringing my body upright here. And then I'm going to just put my foot here for a little while so that you know that either one is good options. So we've done that. Now we're going to take ourselves into a twist, seated up straight and tall. I'm going to take my right hand to my left knee that's bent, and it's either here, it's here, up here, and I'm going to take my hand behind me, lift up nice and tall, and begin that twist. Looking over my back shoulder, feel that, oh yeah, into my waistline. My one dog is over there with a rock under his head like a pillow. And then go ahead and release, and of course here's Inky. And we're going to come into the other side, so crossing my left hand to my extended right leg. I'm going to put my right hand behind me and twist around. Opposite way. All of this can be done seated on the ground. All right. Some of us aren't really wanting or ready to hop ourselves up and down off the ground. So that's why this is called a chair class. I love it. I love experimenting with the chair. Bringing ourselves back, and let's flip. So our left leg now extends, keeping that knee slightly bent. The right one bends even more to open up the hip. And I'll start here, and then the second time I'll bring my leg here. You guys find where your place is. And you can take these chairs and move them in any direction, okay? And so here I am, standing or sitting up straight and tall here. And I'm going to go ahead and bring myself forward. Flat spine. Knee bent. Continue to breathe, let gravity and breath continue to let me come in closer and down, closer to my extended leg. And then I'm going to curl and tuck and round, chin to chest, forehead to knee. Hanging out here. With breath through my nose. And I know it's constricting, right? We're constricting into the trachea here because we're giving that compression to our thyroid glands. And then I'm going to come up, chin stays at chest, bringing myself back up into a straight spine. And I'm going to work into the twist. So because I am just showing the different ways, I'm going to go ahead and bring my leg in, opening up that hip. And again, that's not for everybody, okay? Hips and shoulders forward. going to take my left hand to my right knee. My right hand comes behind me. I'm using that chair to really assist me in that straight spine so that I get that muscle memory, what it feels like. I'm going to go ahead and take the twist, looking over my right shoulder, pushing through my left foot. And slowly releasing my head first, shoulders, and my ribs and waist. Bring myself back, and I'm going to reverse that. My right hand comes to cross over, my left hand comes behind me. I'm going to push down, lift, lengthen, and then begin the twist. Pushing out through my left foot, toes pulled back, heel pushing out, my back staying nice and straight. And then exhale, slowly reversing out of that and taking both legs forward, and find myself in cobbler's pose, Supta Konasana, I believe it's called. And that's where I'm going to kind of be like butterfly pose, sometimes it's called, because both hips are open. I might bring the chair in closer so that I can have my hips open more. And so find what that is for you. But it's nice that the chair is up. And again, this can be done grounded as well. But because I have the chair, I'm going to use it to assist me in maintaining that straight spine, maintaining open hips. So I can't maybe do this if I'm on the ground because I don't have anything really to hold on to that's going to help me to empower myself to open my hips more and keep my spine long. And then I'm going to bring myself forward, pulling on the chair, right? Keeping my back flat. Pushing my feet together. Bringing myself forward as much as my body is allowing. Really feel a nice opening here for my hips. Then rounding my shoulders, let my head go. Pulling at my navel, because I am in an inversion here. And coming on up. Holding on to the chair. My shoulders come down and open up just a bit as I push my feet together. Squeeze into my glutes. Squeeze my feet together. Oh yeah. And squeeze into those hips. Gonna feel this tomorrow. Push into my feet. Squeeze into my hips. Pulling at my navel. And exhale, releasing out of my glutes. Let my hands come down. And let me take my feet down one at a time here. And remove that second chair. Actually, before we remove it, let's just take ourselves into that peaceful warrior one more time. Push your tailbone back. Let your forehead come to the edge of the chair. Your hands are downward here. This is a restorative kind of restful pose here to be in peaceful warrior. With that chair, we're really able to keep our backs in a parallel alignment to the earth. Push back more, pull the chair away if you want to lengthen more. Let's do 2 more full slow breaths here. Focused in on how the belly and the ribs expand, contract. Pressing feet into the ground. Slowly walk yourself back up into seated. You can push that other chair away now. And I'm going to turn my chair back facing you. notice the dog paws that have claimed my space. And sitting here, the edge of the chair, spine straight. Should feel a lot of lengthening in that spine now. You know, we talk about how we shrink, right, as we get older. And really, if you maintain these good practices with your spine and your posture, I've heard people who say, wow, I gained a half an inch after I started doing yoga and been doing it for 6 months or whatever it was. So those lengthenings are really important, that paying attention to our upright posture, staying mindful of when we go into slump asana, right? Oh, I'm in slump asana. How can I use that to my benefit? Let me take a forward fold, exhale. Let me reverse out of that slump asana by taking a hard opening cow. And then let me come back into a nice neutral spine where I'm aware of the muscles that it takes in my spine, in my core to stay upright, okay? So practice this seated on the edge of the chair as much as you can. Practice it seated anywhere as much as you can. And those of you that are able to get up and down from the ground, practice it seated on the ground. It's even more difficult there. It's just because a chair is a little more assisting us. When we come to the ground, we got to figure out what to do with the weight of our legs, right? So if they come forward, that's going to push us back, and we really have to come forward out of like that staff pose. Or if we're in Sukhasana, right, an easy pose, that's going to push us back. We're going to have to work even harder. So practice that in the chair and anywhere else that you feel really well supported. And then maybe also up against a wall. Find that wall and utilize that space too. So thanks for being willing to do a little different practice today, a little slower, a little more mindful practice today. Really glad you guys joined in to our Zoom, and August, we're past the halfway point. We'll see what's going in September. I think we meet next week